now. All right, so good afternoon again, everyone. Let me just thank you very much for being here, and I appreciate the fact that you have made the effort to be here. As I said earlier, there are approximately 600 grade 9 and 10 students, so I would have expected approximately 600 parents to be here. At this point, we have just a little bit over a quarter of that number of parents, which is reflective of the issues we have with online activities. Many times the persons who we expect to be engaging are not here to be engaged online. We were a little bit more fortunate to have more than 25% of the students attending classes, but I still think that we ought to have more parents than those who are here. But it's difficult for the preacher to preach to the choir. Seeing that you're already here, then I really shouldn't be preaching this sermon. But nonetheless, I want you to, as parents, as I've always asked, to encourage your fellow parents to make an effort to meet with us when we ask that they meet with us, whether it's physically or virtually. It's important that these discussions take place. For today's meeting, it's really a one item agenda looking at the reopening of school in January. But before I get to that one item, I'm going to just briefly go over what would have transpired last term, just a quick review, and tell you where is it that we intend to go from here, including the plans for the new school term starting in January. I think we should have a few teachers online. I'm not sure if Mrs. Soles and Mr. Kogel is here yet, if they are here yet, but I know there are a few teachers online. Let me see. What I will do is I will speak for maybe about 10 or so minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. Then I'm going to open the floor for questions. You may ask questions. You may ask questions at the end, either by raising your hand to indicate that you'd like to speak, or you can type questions in the chat. I think Mrs. Martin, one of the grade 10 coordinators, is here. So I'm going to ask Mrs. Martin to monitor the chat for me. So if there are questions raised in the chat, when we are finished, can you kind of just raise them for me so that we can address those questions. So as I said, I want to just briefly give an outline of what would have transpired last term. First of all, as you recall, we did not get off to our September start as was customary. We had, the government decided that school would be delayed until the 5th of October. So we did not officially start the school term until October 5. However, for the most part, we would have started to engage our students and our parents during September with our online platform, ensuring that everyone was on and was prepared to start classes officially on October 5. So we have been having classes since October 5 online for all students at all grade levels for all subjects. However, we would have encountered some issues. A number of our students were not able to join the classes online. Some were able to do so, but not consistently, and therefore many of them would have lost out on what was being taught during the course of the term online. Some of them, while they were unable to join the classes during the days, we had a few students who still made an effort to go into their accounts in the evenings or whenever it was convenient and tried and completing the work that was assigned. However, we found that we did not think that it was good enough in terms of the engagement and how much persons have been getting from these online activities. There were a few persons who did exceptionally well. They went out to all their classes, tried and complete all their assignments, but yet we still think that across the board, it wasn't good enough. We tried our very best. We tried to make contact with students who we were not hearing from. Some we were able to contact, some we were not able. We got different responses where some persons eventually were able to get online and started doing classes. We had instances where some persons just could not get online from where they were living, and so they came in from time to time to use the school's resources to go to online classes. So they would come and sit in the auditorium and attend classes online with their teachers. So we have been trying our very best, but as I think most persons will agree that the online capabilities of both the home and the school is not sufficient for everybody to benefit as much as we would like them to benefit. Today we have our grade 9 and 10 students here, our parents here, and I just want to say a few things specific to where they are now. So our grade 9 students would have lost out a half of the grade 8 year, and they would have come into grade 9 and would have been missing out quite a few things in terms of the engagement that we have been able to have with them at grade 9. We know that typically the grade 9 is the most difficult year because of the workload, the number of subjects they have to do, and of course the fact that by the end of grade 9 they are expected to make choices as to what subject areas they will need to be doing in order to fulfill their career choices. So the grade 9 students have a heavy workload carrying. The fact that they have had to be doing so online makes it a little bit more difficult than is the norm, and it is always difficult. So we have a concern for these grade 9 students. We also know that they are not as committed as they ought to be, and therefore, where they are expected to do a lot of work on their own, we have not gotten the level of input and the level of enthusiasm that we would expect from our students. So the grade 9 students are at a peculiar situation where come January, they have roughly six months to complete their preparations at the lower secondary school level, and then put in place the measures that will have them best prepared to get into the upper secondary school level, where they are now going to be focusing on external examinations. So so that is going to be a concern that we will have to address. The grade 10 students, now that is something that I'm really, really concerned about. As a matter of fact, the entire staff is concerned about the grade 10 students, because while they have all selected their subjects, so all of them should be doing 8 subjects, we are concerned about the number of students, grade 10 students, who have not been attending all their 8 subjects, right? So there are some who have been attending 4, some 5, some 6, some 7, and many have not been attending all 8 subjects. Let me make it clear. Let me make it absolutely clear. If they are going to do well, they will have to make sacrifices. We are not going to lay down a paved road for them so that things are going to be easy for them. Nothing is going to be easy in the current circumstances that the world finds itself in. Persons who expect to do well will have to work to do well. So those persons who believe that they are going to get an extra year in school, or they are going to be able to drop a subject, or teacher going to be sorry for them, it ain't gonna work. It is just not going to work. Persons have to realize that when times get tough, you have to get tough. And so many of them have absolutely no reason at all not to be doing better than they are doing. I am not saying that persons don't have challenges, but I'm also saying that too many of them have not been willing to make the sacrifices that others have had to be making to ensure that the opportunity is there for them to do well. And therefore, I'm saying to you as parents that you have to take stock of what is happening. The grade 10 students missed out on half of their grade 9 year. The CXC syllabus is heavily skewed towards what is done in grade 10. And we have already missed, well, we have already gone past the longest term in the school year. I can tell you that right now CXC is saying that they are not changing their syllabus for the students who are currently in grade 11 and have exams to do in June. As a matter of fact, they wanted to stick with their May dates. So parents, you have to get to the point where you get your students, your children to understand that this isn't an easy world. This isn't a society or a world where people come and hand out things to you. You have to work for what is it you want. And I'm really, really not happy that our students, well, let me not put everybody in the same basket, but I'm unhappy that so many of our students have not been making the effort to do as well as they can. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned because I don't think the issues that we have now are the ones that we are seeing now. I think the bigger issues that we have are the ones we will see 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And so as parents, we have to understand that we have a role to play and we have to be serious about this. I understand the difficulties that the students are facing. I understand that many of them are in situations where they are cloaked up and they can't do the things that they have become accustomed to doing. There isn't much for them to do to relax and to get a breather. But there are many who are all over the place on the road gallivanting, doing all sorts of things that are not going to be beneficial to them in the long run. So having said all of that, parents, I think that you would fully appreciate that we are not satisfied with what we were able to accomplish last school term. I think, to be honest, if I want to be fair to our teachers in particular, I think that they made great efforts. And if we were going to compare ourselves with others, we could say that we did well. But we don't set the bar according to where others have placed it for us, right? Our bar, our standard is set at where we believe that we are able to accomplish things. And if we are going to be talking about where is it that we think we ought to be because of what we have and what we are capable of doing, then we cannot be satisfied that we have done all that we can. So we may be able to compare ourselves with that and say, yes, we do better than X or Y or Z. But that doesn't mean anything at all to me. It doesn't mean anything to us, right? What we ought to be focusing is ourselves. Have we done as well as we can? And I'm saying that from the student's perspective, there are too many persons who cannot honestly say that, yes, I have done as best as I can under the circumstances, right? So we have been doing our part to ensure that we are fully prepared whenever an opportunity comes for us to reopen and to get our students back in the classrooms, right? We have been doing everything from day one. From the day school closed on March 13th, we have not closed. Our ancillary staff or admin staff have been working almost every single day, excepting on public holidays, right? So they got 3 days last week and they got a few days in March, when COVID just came about. But they have been working every day, right? The principal, vice principals, many of the teachers have been here, have been doing things to ensure that when the time comes, we are able to provide the opportunities for the students. And it upsets us when we put in the effort, we provide the opportunities, and they are not provided, they are not made use of. So what we have been doing is ensuring that the school is in a position to accept students to come to school physically and be safe while they are here. As a result, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health would have assessed us during the course of the term and would have deemed that we are in a position to safely accommodate students, right? And therefore, they gave us the permission at the end of November to resume face-to-face classes for students. However, based on the protocols, we have had to ensure that the way we do it, we do not have all our students here at the same time because we have over 1,700 students and the resources that are available, right, would make it a little bit too challenging to have all 1,700 students here on any given day. It would create issues in terms of us enforcing the protocols and ensuring that students are safe where they are. So we have not been able to accommodate all our students at the same time. However, what we did at the end of the term for the last 2 weeks, we invited back our grade 11 and our sixth form students which amounted to approximately 470 students, right? For the 2 weeks, we had at least 400 students here every day. While they were here, we made sure the protocols were being followed. We did whatever improvements we saw that needed to be done. The Ministry of Health, they came by each day just to check what was happening, to look at how we were enforcing the protocols. And I think for the most part, we did a very good job, and I think we were commended for what we did. We had more students than probably any other school in Jamaica. Our percentage attendance was very good. I think if you were following the news, you would have heard that most schools that reopened had attendance rate of around about 30 at 40%. We had an attendance rate of over 80% every single day, and we were able to comply with the protocols. I think that the students were very happy to be here. The teachers were happy to have the students here. So the students, I think, benefit greatly from the interactions with the teacher. I know that many of our teachers said to me that the 2 weeks that they were here for, they were able to cover more than they were able to do with the 2 months that they had students online. So I think that it shows that there's great benefit for having our students attending face-to-face classes. So having gone through that particular phase, oh, by the way, one of the things that we did during that part, and that is something that we are going to continue, is that we had transportation arrangement in place for our students. So we made the arrangements ourselves, and we insisted that students use the buses that were provided on the routes that they were provided to come to and from school. So because of that, we had more than 60% of our students being transported directly to us, plus other students who live within walking distance or were dropped off directly by their parents. So most of our students during the period were transported directly to school, and therefore didn't have to go into the town and get mixed up at the transportation centers and so on. So I will speak about that a little bit after, how that arrangement works and how it will apply to your children when their time comes. So where we are now, school reopens in January next week. The arrangement, and I want you to note carefully what the arrangements are. We will send them out in writing, but you can make note of them now so that if there's something you don't understand, you can ask questions. So what we're going to do, we're going to reopen on Monday, but students will not be at school on Monday and Tuesday. So no student will be at school. There will be no classes, neither online nor face-to-face for students next Monday and Tuesday, right? All teachers will be at school. We will be putting in place plans for classes going forward on Monday and Tuesday, but no students at school on Monday and Tuesday. On January 6th, that's Wednesday, January 6th, all grade 10 students will return to school for face-to-face classes on Wednesday, January 6th. Let me repeat, on Wednesday, January 6th, all grade 10 students will report for school for face-to-face classes, all right? On that same Wednesday, we will also have our sixth formers. And then there are going to be some students who will be identified and will be contacted directly. Some students from grade 7 to 9. So right now we have our grade 9 students here. Some grade 9 students will be contacted directly and will be told that they are expected to report to school on Wednesday, January 6th as well. Remember, I said some, only some, all right? Those some are going to be students who have not attended any online classes since October. So if you know that your child did not attend any online classes, it means that you are to expect a call that will indicate that your child must report to school on Wednesday, January 6th. All right, so those students who did not attend any online classes, or if we find that there are a few students who did not attend the classes more than 1 or 2 times, then we are going to call in those students for Wednesday, January 6th as well. On Wednesday, January 6th, all other students other than those I named who should report to school will return to online classes. So if you are not at school on Wednesday, then it means that you have online classes, all right? That's for Wednesday. For the rest of the week, Those that I named will be at school for face-to-face classes while everybody remains online for the rest of the week. On the week of January 11th, the week of January 11th, we are going to continue face-to-face classes, but this time we will continue with the grade 7 to 9 students who we have told that they need to come to school face-to-face. We will have the grade 10 students will come in 3 days that week. And you will be told which 3 days you'll come in based on which pools you're on. All right, so the grade 10 students will come in 3 days for that week based on the pool they're on. We will send out that tomorrow to tell, so you know which days the week of the 11th. So you don't even have to worry, because by the time you get to school next week, you'll be told which 3 days the following week you'll be at school. All right, and we'll also have grade 11s and sixth formers there during that week of the 11th. During that week, we'll make an assessment as to how we're managing. During that time, we expect to have roughly 700 plus students at school. So we'll make an assessment at that time to see how we're doing based on the number of students who are here, how is our canteen managing, how is our talk shop managing, how are the classrooms coping, are we able to find large enough classrooms so that people are physically apart from each other. How is the bus system working? Or do we have enough buses on the route? Do we have students gathering in Santa Cruz and all of that? We'll make the assessment. We'll also assess what is happening with COVID. Is there a spike going on? Is there more positive cases turning up? Or are things getting back to normal like they were before December? And then we decide how many more of the grade 7 to 9s we will take in, right? On the 18th of January. So we are hoping that by the 18th of January, more grade 7 to 9 students will start attending classes, right? Based on where we are now, we don't believe that every student is going to be at school every day before sometime late February. So between January and February, we expect that students are going to come to school for classes some days and have classes online on other days. So they will have classes every day, but some days it's going to be online and some days it's going to be face-to-face. And we will provide the schedule to you. Part of the arrangement that we're putting in place to ensure that students are safe or the risk is minimized is that we are putting buses on routes, right? So we are putting buses on all the major routes that students come from to STETHS. So Black River to STETHS, Mandeville to STETHS, Newmarket to STETHS, Thornton to STETHS, Balaclava to STETHS, possible Alligator Pond to STETHS, Bull Savannah Junction to STETHS, Southfield Topville to STETHS, Kincaid, Monroe, Malvern to STETHS, Treasure Beach, Watchwell, Mountainside, Burn Savannah to STETHS. All those routes, we are going to have buses on those routes. Once there's a bus on your route, you must take the school bus to school, or unless your parent is taking you to school. So we are not going to be allowed to be taking taxis unless there is no bus on your route. All right? So you must take the bus to school and take the bus back home, unless there is no bus on your route or your parents taking you have a private transportation that takes you, maybe a private chartered vehicle that takes 4 or 5 of you, that's fine. But we do not want our students traveling with anyone else to and from school if it is avoidable. All right, so we know that there are some students who will still have to take taxis or take bus because, for example, there may be just a few students from that area that comes to STETHS, and it wouldn't be, we wouldn't find it feasible to send a bus for 4 or 5 students who are far apart from everybody else, right? So that is the arrangement. It is going to be regular school, so the normal school rules will apply in terms of behaviors, in terms of dress code, in terms of the time you come to school and whether or not you're allowed. As a matter of fact, I'm asking that parents do not ask their children to conduct any business to or from school. Let them come to school and come back home safely, all right? Mask, you are allowed to wear whatever color mask as long as it does not carry any graffiti or any obscene language. We do have school masks that you can purchase. And of course, included in the rules is that you cannot be on campus without a mask. You are not going to be allowed onto the campus without a mask. So you must have a mask. In terms of persons who have issues, in terms of illnesses that prevent them from having on a mask for sustained periods, teachers are going to be understanding and allowing you time to take down your mask and move away from others, right? Also, if there are issues with students who are ill and it may not be safe for them to attend school, then you must write to me to indicate that that is the case so that we can look at what arrangements can be made for students to get the work that is covered. Final point for me, just going back to the bus before I open the floor for questions. For the buses, you will pay fares. You will pay the normal fare the fare you normally pay, or a little bit less. So it won't be more than what you normally pay. You will not be required to pay to the bus drivers. The fares will be collected when you come to school each morning. Or if you want, you can pay for the fare for the week. You will be provided with a bus pass. So if you pay for the day, you get a 1 day pass. If you pay for the week, you get a weekly pass. All right, so you pay when you get to school. The bus drivers will not be collecting fares from you because we will be paying the bus drivers. I think I've said a mouthful, more than the 15 or 20 minutes that I promised. So I'm now going to open the floor for questions. Remember that you can raise your hands if you want to ask a question. You may raise your hand and I'll acknowledge you. Or if there are questions in the chat, Mrs. Martin, I don't know if you're still here. Just raise your hand for me if you're still here so that I can unmute you and allow you to ask any questions from the chat. So the floor is now open. If anyone wants to ask a question, you can raise your hand. I see Shelly-Ann. So let me go with Shelly-Ann. You can unmute and then ask your question. Shelly-Ann.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I've listened to all the questions. I'm really applauded by everything I've heard so far. I understand. My sister have all classes, online classes or online classes is good. So I guess she won't be able to come in on Wednesday. But moving forward, I hope to see them going in and, because it's really, I'm proud of what's going on, basically. That's what I wanted to say.
Yes. Yeah, we really miss the students, I can tell you. We miss the students and we want to get them back, but we're going to ensure that we do it safely. So far what we have been doing is working. And as I said, by the 18th of January, we'll look to see how we can get them back in, all right?
Okay, sir, thanks.
Thank you, Shelley. Mrs. Martin, I'm going to unmute you, but don't ask the questions from the chat. Let me finish with the hands that are raised. So you can unmute when you're ready, Mrs. Martin, but let us those who have raised their hands, let us allow them to go ahead. So Denise, you can also unmute and go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Suppose I purchase the fare for the week and my child doesn't come to school, is it refundable?
All right, so what for the week, it's going to be a punch card. So it will show that she still has trips left on it. So each card, the week is 5 days, 10 trips. So the card will have 10 trips on it. So when you punch it, you punch each time the child makes a trip, a punch is inserted in it. So it means that if they only come 3 days, that's 6 trips, they will have 2 days left.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, good. Kimar, you can unmute and go ahead, yes.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Early.
Good evening, Mr. Lamson.
I have a question. Well, my child, Jamila, she has online classes, but I'm thinking that the platforms that have been used is a great challenge. First, they were using what was it? Was it Zoom? And then they started using Google Meet, but those platforms are not always compatible with the devices So right now, today she get on one class and then tomorrow she can't get on and I have to leave my phone at home so she can get onto the class. And it's really inconvenient. So I'm wondering if there are any further things that gonna go in place or any research being done for more convenient platforms for the classes, because it's really stressing.
All right, so we understand that, and that is part of the reason why we need to get back to face. But the Google Classroom is the most universally acceptable classroom facility based on what we need to do in terms of storage, in terms of the different resources that we need to post. I think for the Google Classroom and Google Meet, any Android device works well. I think the iPhones or the Apple devices as well as the Amazon devices are the problem. But as you know, most persons have Android devices. So let us hope that you can find a way out for the time being, and we will be able to get back to face and reduce some of those problems. But as it is now, the Google Meet is the most appropriate platform that we can use. All right. Brianna, you can unmute and go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
And how is the evening, sir?
I'm good.
Brianna is a 10th grade student. And she will be going to school Wednesday.
Yes.
And you say a bus run from Malvern to the school. Well, she lives in Stanmore and it's very hard. To take a bus, to catch a bus at Malvern Square.
How does she normally get to school?
She usually travel on a taxi to school.
A taxi that takes everybody or state students only?
No, it don't take everybody. She just catch that taxi, a normal ride from where she is to school.
All right, so remember, some students will have to travel like that. So if where you live, it's difficult for you to get on the road, the main, to get the bus, then we are allowed to take the taxi or to take another transportation. But of course, we want you to be very careful and to ensure that you don't travel in vehicles where people are crowded and not wearing masks and all of those things. Because it's not just about, well, it's two things. It's really protecting yourselves and then protecting those, because you're leaving your home. You're going to come to school with hundreds of other persons, and then you go back home maybe with an ill grandmother who may be in problems if she catches the COVID. So that is why we're trying to do everything to reduce whatever risk that may be involving you traveling to and from school.
So where we live, there's a vehicle in the house that travel to Santa Cruz.
Yes,
so
that's
she
fine.
did ask if when school over, if she could have board the bus, come that side.
Yes, she can.
Okay, so the problem is in the morning because a good walk to Malvern from Stanmore.
Yeah, man, she can travel back home on the bus.
Okay, sir. Okay,
All
then,
right,
sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Keisha, you can unmute and go ahead.
Mr. Wellington, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Question here. If I had paid school fee for just one term, knowing that this is a new term and with the whole COVID thing and the online, how does that go read the school fee?
So we did have school last term. We did have expenses relating to the running of school. So we expect the same. Nothing has changed real school fee. So I think the next fee is due in February. Most persons would have $5,000 outstanding for February. So we are expecting parents to pay the school fee. As I said before, we had school and we had expenses that we still had to meet. The issue of the bus, I can tell you that for the 2 weeks that we ran the buses, just for grade 11 and sixth form students, we paid the bus drivers more than $1 million, right? Parents paid, but it was not enough to pay for the buses. So for 2 weeks, we had to break up by about $300,000, right? It is money that would have come from school fees that parents pay. We could say, remember now, these same buses would normally carry 35 and 40 persons. We are telling them that they can't carry more than 28 persons in the coaster, right? So when we tell them that we don't want to raise the fare for the students, so what we do is that we find a way to help the parents. So things like that, we still have to pay light bill and telephone bill and internet bill. So while the students were not here, we still had to cost that we had to cover, right? So we expect parents to support us still. All right. All right, Keisha. All right, so I don't have any more hands up now.
Okay then, sir. Question is, although I pay the school fee, read the bus now. How will the child know that the child can go on the bus? Will the child have a bus pass to go on the bus? Because we only pay the school fee, but we don't pay any
in the mornings, they don't need anything to go on the bus. So the bus will just stop and pick them up. When they get to school, we know who are the persons on the bus. We will collect the fares either in the morning or during the course of the day, and they get the bus pass to go back on the bus in the evening.
Okay then, sir. So we don't need to pay any bus fee then?
I don't understand I just like everybody needs to pay the fares.
So how the bus fee, I don't get a schedule, like what price will I need to pay?
No,
pay by the month?
No, well, I don't know if you joined late, but I did say
I joined late.
Right, so you pay either daily, so every day, or you can pay for the week. They will get a bus pass. So if it's 1 day you pay for, you get a token that you use to go on the bus. If you pay for the week, you get a bus pass that you use to go on the bus, and it lasts for the week, right? So
okay, so that is different from the school fee then.
Of
because
course,
we have paid the school fee at the bank.
Yeah, man. And by the way, you don't have to go to the bank to pay the school fee. You can pay it at the school, either with cash or card. So I know that the banks lines are long and crowded now. We encourage you not to go to the bank if you don't have to, because you can pay it at the school and avoid the long lines.
Okay.
All right. Who was next now? Carry on. Carry on, you can unmute and go ahead. Carry on is gone.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My thing is, we have a bus travel our end to school, so we don't know yet because I haven't contacted.
Where's?
That's Cheapside Junction.
Okay. Who is the bus? Which bus? What's the driver?
Simon.
Oh, Simon. Well, he comes through Rosal and
Red Bank, Rosal, and
yeah. I sent a message for him to call me. Again, remember, because it's not regular school, the arrangement may not be able to be the same that you are used to, because if only grade 9 students or only grade 10 students are coming, then maybe the busman won't have a load and it becomes an issue. Right? But I've asked him to get in touch with me so that we can look at the arrangement. Or what I have sent out a link where all the students, the grade 10 students already completed. The background is nice, carry on. Right, the grade 10 students already completed the transportation survey that we did earlier this term. So I have their data. But the grade 9 students have sent out a link where they need to complete the survey so that I know where students live, where they're coming from, which route they are going to be on. So if you haven't seen the link yet, just ask your form teacher.
I've seen that already.
Right, just ask your form teachers to send it so you can fill it out. So I know how many students are going to be on each route.
I have paid $7,000 for school fee, and I'm asking, is the $5,000 to continue on that 7,000? Yes.
Yes, man. The school fee the school fee you paid last term is last term. Is it last? Well, the school fee is the school fee for the year, and it's divided in 2. So you pay a part in September and a part in February.
So do I get a pay slip done by the school? Or?
Yes, you'll get a pay stub, but remember, as I said, it's due in February, not next week.
Okay, so it's due in February.
Right, so the students will get it to take home.
my other thing is everybody, I know it's stressful because it's stressful on my son for the internet and stuff. He has it up and down and he has it real hard. So I try my best because I'm still at work now. So that's why my background is that noisy.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I still have him amongst my mother that monitor them sometimes for me.
All right.
So I'm thankful and I'm grateful for all that the school has done for them. And I'm wishing everybody a new year's when it comes.
All right. Thank you very much, and the same to you. All right. Just quickly, I have another meeting at 7, so it's now 6:21, so I probably have at most 30 minutes left. So let me just try and rush through these questions. Mrs. Martin, I remember. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Mrs. Martin here. A parent is asking if there's any arrangement for the students in SAV in terms of transportation.
When I get the list, when the surveys are completed and I know how many students live in the different areas, that is when we determine where the buses will go. So I wouldn't send us bus to SAB for 5 students. You understand? But if we have 15 or 20 students in SAB, then we'll make arrangement for that as well.
All right, another question in the chat. Read the students who are part of the track team, how would they get back home since they would have training in the afternoon?
I'm not sure which students, but once they are students, they travel like how others travel. If it is students who are not supposed to be if it is students who are on the track team and they train after school and the buses have already left, then that's another arrangement. I'd suggest that they have that discussion with Mr. Walcott.
Okay, and I trust the parent would have heard that.
Yes. All right. Somebody asked about Mandeville. The pickup from Mandeville is from Jamaica National. So it's a school bus. It's a school coaster. The coaster you will do the Mandeville route. And it picks up at Jamaica National. All right. All right. Any other question, Mrs. Martin?
Just school fee and mask and so on. So I think you would have covered those questions.
Yes. All right.
Another question, sir. Will the students be required to bring their devices when school reopens?
Yes, they must bring their devices. I'm in a meeting, I have to call them.
All right. Pretty much. Cost of the mask, sir?
At school, school mask, $300, I think.
All right. Yes, it is 300. All right. That would have been it. You'd have covered the other areas.
The persons who normally I'm not sure we're in Black River. We're in Black River, the pickup point is, but I'm sure it won't be difficult to find out when it's time. Let me go to, is it Iture Taylor? You can unmute and go ahead. Iture Taylor, please unmute and go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. I joined the meeting late, so my daughter is in the 10th grade, and I think I heard that they should return on Wednesday. I'm not sure, so I just want to confirm because I came in late.
Yes, they return on Wednesday.
Okay, so it's usual time.
Hello, I'm in another meeting. I remember that 7 o'clock. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And this is the usual 8 o'clock, usual school time and everything.
Yes, the buses are going, you are going to get a bus schedule that tells you what time the bus picks up at the different point. So if you're on, so you'll get a bus schedule. For example, if we talk about the Black River route, you'll get a bus schedule that says that you are picked up at 7 at Black River, maybe 7:15 at Middle Quarters, 7:25 at Holland. So you will get a schedule.
All right, okay, thank you. All right.
You're welcome. Is it you okay? You okay? Unmute and go ahead. You muted back yourself. Go again, you okay?
When I was filling out the form, it didn't exactly say a route from New Holland to Santa
No,
Cruz,
man.
so I'm wondering if they will be doing.
No, but didn't the form say Black River, Middle Quarters, New Holland, Lacovia? So just select where the bus, remember, just select the route that the bus is going to pass you on.
Okay, then.
All right. Natasha. Natasha, you can unmute.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Who would pick up at Southfield?
Which bus?
Or the bus driver for Southfield? Yes.
I'm not sure yet. When we had the grade 11s and 6th formers, we didn't have enough students in Southfield, so the buses started in Junction. I think there were only 2 or 3 students in Southfield. So depending on the numbers, that's why it's important that everybody does a survey. Depending on the numbers, we have, well, I know Kincaid, at Kincaid. So if you're at Southfield, you could pick up at Kincaid, the bus that comes Malvern, Monroe, Malvern, and come down. So we had a bus that started at Kincaid and came through Malvern and Monroe and Malvern. But again, by the time the survey is completed, hopefully by tomorrow, all the students would have completed it. I will share the information with you.
Okay, then, thanks.
All right. Let me go to Janice. Janice, you can unmute and go ahead now.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm just asking. Yes, my daughter has her device on. Turn it off.
Or turn it on, just step away from me a bit.
All right, sir. I'm asking if the students are going to be doing exam, and say, for instance, if you have more than one buses passing your area, you just go on anyone that
you wish? Anyone that comes to you first, you go on it. Once there's space on it.
Okay, and we're asking about the exams.
Yeah, exams. Yes, we have to do assessment. We know that there have been challenges, and that is why we're bringing in those students who have not been engaged. We're trying to bring them in for that extra week and a half, just to try and get them up to speed with some of what has been done, because we intend to do assessments. What we will use the grades for, we haven't decided yet, but we have to assess. So the assessments will be done maybe sometime in February. And we will have Parents' Day where we are able to give the feedback as well. All right. Janice, is it Janice? Yeah, Janice, you can unmute and go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And I want to say have a happy holiday when it comes to you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
A new year. Okay.
All right, good. That's all? All right, so the buses, I know persons have been asking where the pickup points. Before Wednesday, more than likely by Monday morning, by Monday, you are going to get the bus schedule. You'll get the names of the drivers. You'll get the telephone numbers of the driver. You'll get the schedule that tells you what time, the costing for the bus. So you'll be able to determine where is it that you can call the driver to find out where the pickup point is going to be for you. I'm in a meeting, I have to call you. All right, so you'll get the pickup, you'll get all the information by Monday morning, the latest. So you'll have 2 days to get the answers to those questions. All right. Marlene, you can unmute. Somebody's asking about students wearing jeans. Absolutely not. We return to normal school. So properly attired, all the school will apply. The hair must be cut now. So all them people who turn rasta and the bleaching and the earrings and them something they know, we don't know how they will get back them color. So you have about 5 days, 6 days to work on some people to get back them color, to get themselves looking like students again. Marlene, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
The bus that actually came to Taunton, he actually can come to Aberdeen too, because they have actually students from Aberdeen attending STETHS.
Yes. Again, depending
So
on the numbers, and I think we may have more numbers, so we may actually put another bus. So what we may do is to start one at Aberdeen and one at Taunton, or start one
no,
at Ceylon, one at Aberdeen.
yeah, because Aberdeen is not really much students, but Taunton are really that far from Aberdeen, so it wouldn't be like that problem. The
All
bus
right.
can actually just come to Aberdeen, pick up these students at Aberdeen, and just do one thing.
All right. So I'll speak with Mr. Bagalu.
Yeah, but normally I hate the person who always bring them, so you know that.
All right. Okay. We'll let him know then.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good. Marcia, you can unmute and go ahead. Marcia. Marcia doesn't want to speak. Marcia, if you want to speak, you can.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, good evening.
I'm just checking I missed a part of the meeting. Will school be reopened for grade 9 students?
All right, so I could easily give you an answer, but I'm not going to. Those persons who were here at the outset, I made sure to say to them, it's unfair for persons to be on time. And sorry, Marcia, I hope you don't feel any way, right? But I remember I'm a teacher, and my responsibility is to get people to do the right things. And we say it to our students every day, so I have to start with the parents. If you are late, you don't get the chance to make up for last time. So I don't know if somebody who has their hand up, they can answer the question for you when I ask them to, but I'm not going to keep 2 meetings because somebody is late. All right, so I'm not being disrespectful, I just want to make the point. All right, so I'm giving somebody permission who speaks after to answer the question, but we cannot start a meeting at 5:30 and then at 6:30 I'm answering questions that I answered half an hour ago. All right, if we do that, we won't finish the meeting. So if you are late, if you miss the meeting, if you are late, please wait on the video. We will do the video and send it out by 9 o'clock tonight. You can sit on your own time and listen to what was discussed. All right, Marcia, and I'm saying it without being disrespectful. All right, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands where I stand with time and how to manage our time. All right, and I hope you share that with your child as well. This is what now, Chanel.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm a 10th grade student. I attend all my Google class. Sir, so should I come to school on the 6th of January?
Yes, all grade 10s. All grade 10s. The only persons we don't expect are those persons who are ill or who have an issue that may make it unsafe for them to attend. But school resume for all grade 10 students on January 6th.
Okay, sir. And we must bring our devices as well?
You can bring your devices and you are expected to dress as you would for normal school. So it's regular school, but you are allowed to take your devices.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we move to Claudine. What is that? All right, so Claudine, you can unmute and go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wellington.
Good afternoon.
Yes, a quick question. My son Raj Nicole, he's in 9B, but he's on a part of the track and field team. I was wondering if he has to come to school every day or I don't know.
Is he camping?
He has training. No, he's not on camp, but he has training.
All right, so you have to have that discussion with Mr. Walcott. All right.
Okay, and also you said every child should take the bus, but his brother works in Santa Cruz, so he would leave him in the morning.
That's
okay,
fine.
I'll ask Mr. Walcott about the evening traveling because he won't be able to take the bus in the evenings either.
No, remember, let me just repeat this bus argument. If parents are allowed to take their children to school, that's one. That's obviously that's the best choice. right? So if you are able to take your child to school, or there's a private vehicle that takes your child to school, that's the best option, right?
Yeah.
Or
But
if you are in a community where there are a few of you that you make arrangement for STETHS students to travel, that's acceptable as well. But
okay.
we are saying that we are putting buses on the route. So instead of taking public transportation, those persons should take those buses. So it's the public transportation that we're trying to eliminate.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Good. Selena.
Hello,
Selena,
Mr. Wellington. Good evening.
good evening.
I have a concern.
Mhm.
My son has an underlying illness, so I'm just concerned about what are the protocols that you have put in place for kids like that.
All right, which grade?
He's grade 10.
Grade 10, right? So, and he has been attending his online classes?
He has been, given
right,
the hiccups that everyone has.
All right, so what we have, all right, so remember, so even the grade 10 students now, they are going to have online classes as well as face-to-face. So it won't be that they are going to only be face-to-face classes. Everybody will still have online classes, but there are going to be days where they're coming face-to-face. Where a student has a comorbidity, meaning that they have an illness that makes it unsafe for them, then the parent is to write to the school to indicate. We will make arrangements with the teachers so that whatever is done face-to-face is posted in the Google Classroom space, and there is one-on-one interaction between the teacher and the student. So individual teachers will work out those situations with the students, right? Because it's not like they won't be having any other class. All right? But we need to know, we need to get information in writing.
Even though he has a medical note on file?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Jodian, you can unmute and go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. What about the extracurricular activities?
We are going to have those activities. When you get back on the 6th of January, you will be told what arrangements are in place for co-curricular activities, but we will have them in place. All right. Mrs. Martin, you have some more questions for me?
Just a question, the career portfolio, sir. For grade 9 students, are you able to give an update as to what's the procedure and how far, what's the process? Because many students have not started.
All right, so unfortunately, I can't provide an update. I don't know if we have one of the grade 9 coordinators or the guidance counselor here with us, but I wouldn't be able to update them. But I am sure that if no one here is able to, by the time school resumes, they will get the additional information. Or Mr. Kogel, or Mr. Kogel is here, so Mr. Kogel wants to answer. Go ahead, Mr. Kogel.
Thank you, Mr. Wellington. Good evening, everyone. Just an update on the career portfolio. The students will be given the details as to how they should complete it when they return to school. So I know the expectation was for them to start it over the holidays, but that did not work out. So as soon as they return to school, then they'll get the outline as to how to complete it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kogel. Welcome, Mr. Kogel.
Thank you, sir.
Any other contributions, sir?
No, just to endorse what you have said, Mr. Wellington, that we have done everything to accommodate the students for the start of the new school term, and the parents can be assured that we have put everything in place for the safety of the kids, and we're just expecting them just to continue to support us in whatever way they can.
All right, good, good. All right.
One more question.
Yes, wait.
A parent is asking if the bus comes to their area and the bus is full, what will happen?
All right, so based on what we are doing, we shouldn't have full buses turning up, because once the forms are filled out, then we know how many students are on the route and how many students would be expected to be in the buses. We had one issue with the Treasure Beach area because we had more students on the buses, especially when we get past Watchwell getting into Mountainside. So we have already made arrangement for to put an additional bus on that route. But we shouldn't have issues with overcrowded buses.
All right, thank you. The office will be open next week, sir, right?
Yes, the office is open now.
And we have enough masks that parents can come in and purchase.
I should think so. I will make sure that they are.
All right, so for that parent that asks, we'll send the notice out to say whether or not, you know, there will be and the cost. All right.
All right, okay. Marcia is making some comments in the chat. Marcia, I think I repeatedly said to you that I'm not being disrespectful. I am just making the point about people asking the same questions that were answered because they did not hear or because they were late. And I made sure to say it at the outset of the meeting. So it was not intended, you asked the question, but it was not directed specifically at you. And I'm saying it to everybody as parents, and I did say I'm a teacher, and it is my responsibility to teach your children the value of time and the value of punctuality. So I will repeat, if we have a meeting scheduled for 5:30, I expect persons to be here for 5:30. I do not find it acceptable that if we start at 5:30 and there are only 50 persons, and at 6 o'clock, there are 100 persons, and they miss the first half an hour, then I'm asked to repeat what was said half an hour. It doesn't work like that. And I'm not being disrespectful, Marcia, and I'm at pains to say it. I am not being disrespectful. I am simply making the point that it is time consuming and it is not productive for us to repeat the things that we say in a meeting. Although I've been repeating myself with this, but I want us to learn from it so that it doesn't happen as often as it has been happening. And that is why we record the meeting so that persons in their own time can sit and watch the meeting for half an hour or whatever time the meeting lasts or whatever part of the meeting you missed. All right. Mrs. Martin, anything else?
One last question, sir. Will there be any extra classes offered?
Extra class, we have evening school going on. We have an official evening school and that has started. Extra classes are up to the teachers. So it's each teacher that determines whether or not they have extra classes. They have been having extra classes. Sometimes they do. They expect 20 students and 3 turn up. And I'm sure Mrs. Martin will confirm that that has always been the case. Right, Mrs. Martin?
That's so true. That is so true, sir.
Right.
But I'm hoping that if the extra classes are offered, bearing in mind the situation that we're in now, that the students will attend. Yes. You know. So yes, we're hoping. Yes. All right. That's it, sir. So thank you very much and good night to the parents. Yes, we look forward to your continued support and cooperation.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Oh, one more thing, sir. Those grade 10 students who have not yet submitted all of their assignments for the various teachers, you're asked to do so because the grades will be needed.
Okay.
Okay.
The link for the form was sent in the various WhatsApp group, but I'm also posting it here now. So so let me post it, the link for the form. No, sorry, that's why I'm gonna delete this. This is not it. Simone, I post a link. That's not the link. That's not the link. So let me just. So Simone, that link is not the link, right? So please ignore it. The person asking about Burn Savannah persons take the bus that comes from Treasure Beach. So all they need to do is to stand by the roadside and they'll be able to take the bus. All right, so if you're in Burn Savannah, you take that bus. Let me just, I'm trying to find the link for the, let me just, any other question, Mrs. Martin? Any other questions? No other questions. If there are no other questions, let me just share the link in the chat. So the link for those who have not yet gotten the link for the survey, it's in the chat now. So if you go on the chat and just click on it, you should be able to access the chat. Selena, did you have your hand up again? If you did, you can unmute and go ahead.
Yes, I did. I forgot to ask you about fundraising for this year. Are you having any fundraiser this year?
It's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult because, of course, you know that crowds are not allowed to be gathering. So I would not be trying anything right now. But we'll think next year, next calendar year is our 60th anniversary. So we will have a number of activities, but that is starting next school year, starting in September. So we'll have a number of activities that we expect your support with.
Okay.
All right. Will bus leave from Balaclava? Yes, we have a bus traveling from Balaclava. So it goes Balaclava, Bogue, Braes River. All right. All right. So I have only about 3 more minutes. The link in the WhatsApp group. Mrs. Martin, did you post the link for, well, the grade 10s, you would have completed it already. So the grade 10s, I already have the data for the grade 10s. So it's the grade 9s who need to complete the form. All right, any other questions? Any other questions? Mrs. Martin, let me see, somebody asks, students on the track team, how will the bus system go for them because training finish after the bus leave? Again, anything to do with track and field, please discuss it with Mr. Walcott. And I think, let me just type his number. Well, if he's on the track team, then you have Mr. Walcott's number. Janice, please unmute and go ahead.
Good afternoon again, sir. Earlier, I just want to clarify because maybe some persons don't get the understanding that much like myself. For the 9th graders who are regularly online, you said that they will probably come in about the 18.
Yes.
And at one question, somebody was asking, the person is in grade 9. However, you said about something about grade the 6. So just clear the ear for some persons who may not understand.
Right, thank you very much. So we have some students who are in grade 7, 8, and 9, right, who have not been attending classes. Some have not attended any at all, right? There are a few who have also attended, but almost just once in a blue moon, as old people would say. Those students, we are going to call their parents and inform the parents that those students must come to school on January 6th. So those parents will be called. All right? So there's a list that we will be working from, and those students will come in for face-to-face classes starting January 6th. All right? All right, Diana, you said that link takes you back to the chat. All right, just ask one of your child's friends to send it to your WhatsApp for me, because it's in the WhatsApp group, the grade 9 WhatsApp group. I posted it there. So I know it's there. Or it is in the form room, the Google form room. All right. Any other questions? All right, so since as there are no other questions, let me thank you very much for coming. Let me ask that you have a very productive time that is left of the year, and hope that for 2021, we'll all have a better year. Let us pray that things will get better and that our students will get the opportunity to go back to some semblance of normalcy. We know that things have been challenging for most of them, and we know that this has a lasting impact on their lives. Many of them will not recover from this, I can tell you that, because some of us as parents, we are just waiting on the day for them to finish high school. And if they don't do well here, some parents, unfortunately, will not be very supportive of them after. So we want to do our very best to try and help them through this and ensure that they get the opportunity to do even better. All right, so I want to thank you very much for being here. I see 2 persons asking me to add them to the WhatsApp group. Can you just type which grade level, whether it's grade 9 or 10 for me, please? And I'll add you and send you the WhatsApps. All right. Any other? Mrs. Martin, there's a grade 10. Mrs. Collins, can you just add her to the group for me? All right, Mrs. Martin. A couple grade 10s, the grade 9s. I'm not in the grade 10 group, I'll add the grade 9s. All right. Ms. Rogers, you can unmute and go ahead.
Good night, sir. I just want to wish you a happy new year when it comes.
Thank you very much, and the same to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I think we would have covered everything. Those numbers that you sent, I will add them for you and send you the link. All right. Thank you very much, parents. I still have an hour left in my work day. So have a good evening and a restful one. All right. Thank you.